Here are 5 self-love quotes that you need to write down. One that I found on social media, and the other 4 I live by. I just kind of condensed them into 4 separate quotes that I wanted to share with you. Let's get into it. So this one I found on social media. It says, "Don't trade your peace for a temporary attention." Let's dive into it. Now, imagine sitting in a room with somebody that you think is attractive and that you want to act or behave in a certain way so that you guys can have this ideal relationship, but they are chaotic and they are causing you chaos and turmoil and stress and just even maybe some light bits of anxiety. Maybe there's some, conflict between the two of you. Maybe you guys don't always see eye to eye. Well, why are we trading our peace for temporary attention? Because if we're dealing with this person, why are we dealing with them if they're not bringing us peace? Well, sometimes it's because we want a little bit of attention. Sometimes we want company. Sometimes we want somebody to tell us that we're pretty or to appreciate our efforts or to let us know we're doing a good job. Trading your peace looks like if you are in bed by 9:30 and you told someone that you're, wanting to get to know, like, hey, I go to bed at 9:30, but they're calling you at 10, 10:30, 11, midnight, and it's throwing off your day. That is trading peace for temporary attention. If you've been trying to, meet up with someone and you've been giving them chances to try to spend time with you and they've been pushing back, and now all of a sudden you have plans with a girlfriend or another friend and they want to interject and interrupt that plan because now all of a sudden they're available and they want to spend time with you, that is trading your peace for temporary attention. If you and this person don't even really get along all the time, but you like the physicality of this person, and now they're at your house or you're at their house, and you might not get along on a compatibility, scale, but there's a chemistry about you two. There's like a passion or a intimate kind of desire for the other person. And so you're trading compatibility for attention to, to tame that fire. That's trading your peace for temporary attention. And we're human. We all deserve love. We all deserve attention. And it's honestly part of our primal needs. If you think about a child, what they're craving 9 times out of 10 is attention. And a lot of the times they're craving it from their, caregiver. But as we become adults, we don't get attention from our caregivers. We get attention from our social groups, from our work groups, and from our romantic partnerships. And I am all about making sure that whoever you spend your time with is worth you spending your time with them. So, quote number 1 that I found via social media is, "Don't trade your peace for temporary attention." Let's get into the ones I live by. Boundaries equals self-respect. You should definitely have boundaries set in your life overall. I mean, whether that's friendships, whether that's family, but definitely as we are working towards building romantic partnerships and relationships. If you have a boundary and you let somebody cross that boundary, now we're seeping into a space of disrespect or a lack of respect or a lack of consideration, especially as it pertains to your boundaries. Let me give an example. Let's say you just met someone. Let's say you're exclusively talking for 2 months and you have to go out of town. So you give this person the key to your space so that they can do pet care. But once you come back from your out-of-town trip, you want your key back. However, you are not setting that boundary. You are allowing this other person to keep the key because it makes them comfortable and doesn't ruffle the relationship. Meanwhile, you really wish you had your key because it's your boundary to make sure your home space is safe. Your house and your home is safe. But you don't want to assert that boundary. You don't want to stand firm on that boundary because you're concerned that something might go, a different direction in the relationship. But that's not how this works. Your self-worth and the things that you care about, there should be boundaries and parameters around that, and nobody should cross them. Boundaries equal self-respect. If you know your worth and you know what you will and will not stand for, you are golden. But if you have boundaries and you know your worth and you're not standing firm on those boundaries, Now our self-confidence, our self-respect, our self-worth are at jeopardy. Set those boundaries, enforce those boundaries, because your boundaries equal self-respect. I am saying this as the oldest of 5, okay? It is not selfish to put yourself first. Okay. Now, I know what some people are going to think. Some people have children, some people have relatives they're taking care of, some people are taking care of their relatives or other relatives, or, all the things in between the two. But it is not selfish to put yourself first, because this is your life. Every day you wake up and you tackle this world in your body as you. And so, what you want, what you think, how you want to go about something, your rest, your nutrition, your heart, your body, your mind, it matters. If you're a mother, I completely understand putting your children before you. However, sometimes it's important to put yourself first so that you're not burnt out putting other people before you. So even if putting yourself first has to be compartmentalized, you have to make it a priority at some point to put yourself first if your life is not set up in a place where you can put yourself first daily. My family is going on a cruise next month, and I'm still deciding if I'm going to make it. However, as they've been planning for this cruise, my man and I had a trip planned to Italy. And so before we ended up executing the trip to Italy, I was considering maybe not even going to Italy and being there with my family and going on this family vacation. But ultimately, I decided to put myself first. It's my money, it's my time, it's my experience, it's my life. And so I had to put myself first and enjoy my relationship in Italy over feeling like I was obligated to pay for a trip somewhere that is really for the family. Now, me being there, and I am family, and I enjoy that aspect, I enjoy those elements. But if it comes down to budgeting and financials, and you have to decide what comes first, and it's something you really want to do, in my opinion, you should be putting yourself first. So, the quote, it is not selfish to put yourself first. This is one of my favorite ones. Pour into yourself as you pour into others. A little similar to the other one as in putting yourself first, but even that has its own kind of feel for this. You cannot keep pouring into another cup and another cup and another cup without pouring into yourself. You cannot pour out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and expect on Saturday to feel good if none of those days of the week you even remotely did something for yourself. If you find that you are the kind of person that consistently pours into others, then I need you to stop right here and remember, pour into yourself as you pour into others. You are going to burn out. You're going to build resentment. You are not going to feel your best unless you are pouring into yourself equally as you pour into other people. And I know that's hard. I know sometimes it's not easy to pour into yourself because your resources have to be designated towards other spaces. But an hour to yourself of you time at the end of the day, whether it's a relaxing playlist, no scrolling, listen to really good music or potentially a book, listen to an audiobook, journal, write your thoughts, paint, draw, take a pencil and a piece of paper and just let your mind wander free without the stress of needing to do something for somebody else. Take some time for you. You have to pour into yourself as you pour into others. Last but not least, self-validation over the opinions of others. Let me tell you what I mean. So let's say that you are out with some friends and you see this dress. And this dress is something you've been wanting to try, but maybe you've kept it to yourself, right? Maybe the style of clothing is something you wanted to go for, but you didn't share that piece of information with anybody. You just kind of kept that to yourself. So you're out with your friends and you see a dress and you're like, man, I've really wanted to try something like that on. I really wanted to see what that looks like on me. And you're like, hey guys, I'm going to go try on this dress. So you guys go and you try on the dress. And you are like, wow, like this feels good. Like this is different. and you're discovering yourself or exploring yourself in this moment. However, your friends are not a fan of the dress. They're, oh my God, no, like that doesn't look good on you. You should try this instead. I don't know. I think that, part of it is have a different friend group. But the other part of it is after you hear those interactions, now this person or you or this hypothetical character, now they're battling between how they feel about the dress versus their friends' opinions. No, 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 no. Self-validation over the opinions of others. Because again, it is your life. If you want to put that dress on, if that dress feels good to you, no matter what anybody says, you should have on that dress. However, if you care more about the opinions of other people, you're not going to get that dress. And then subconsciously in the back of your mind, it's going to replay of like, oh man, I should have got that dress. I should have got that dress. And it's not even about the dress. This is just a very small example, but it's the idea that if you want something and if you feel good about something and if you want to go towards something, then you go for it. And you should not let anybody else's opinions or thoughts or views about what it is that you're doing deter you from doing something you feel and know in your spirit or in your heart that you want to go for. Self-validation over the opinions of others. I tackle self-love in my 21-day journal prompt, which is 21 days of prompts geared to make sure you're thinking healthy and being positive and loving to yourself and your mind, because that is all that I'm about. You can check the link. My books and all the things are there if you want to chat. So please, if we need a refresher for these quotes, don't trade peace for temporary attention. Boundaries equals self-worth. It is not selfish to put yourself first. Pour into yourself as you pour into others. And last but not least, self-validation over the opinions of others. Write those down and be sure to refer to them whenever you need, or just come back to this channel. I'll talk them out for you if you need. I'm Aubrey, your self-love and healthy love coach, and I will see you on the next video. And don't forget to subscribe. Ciao.